It's 1:40 a.m. Your mind has turned into a courtroom. Exhibit A, the blunt email you sent. Exhibit B, the future where your boss calls you in. The inner prosecutor paces beneath a flickering candle of attention, presenting worst-case scenes with absolute confidence. You try to out-argue your mind, it gets meaner. You try to think positive, it rolls its eyes. You replay your day, prosecuting yourself with the zeal of a lawyer who has already decided the verdict. The harsher you get, the stronger the prosecution becomes. What's fascinating is how familiar this is. We've been taught two equal but opposite moves: toughen up or soothe yourself. When toughening up fails, we try to be nice. When being nice fails, we return to toughness with extra bite. Meanwhile, the night passes, the candle burns low, and nothing in your life actually changes by morning. Here's the hook that surprised me. What if the voice in your head is not the truth, it's a habit? And what if the lie paralyzing you is, I can't be my own friend, when the Bhagavad Gita's toughest instruction is exactly that: befriend the mind and lift yourself, or be dragged by it. By the end of this, you'll have one clear idea from the Gita that reframes self-talk as self-leadership. One true story of someone who lived it under impossible pressure, and one simple experiment you can run for 7 days. High stakes, simple moves. Let's begin. Vienna, 1941. A young psychiatrist, Viktor Frankl, holds a U.S. visa, a fragile bridge out of danger. But his parents would be left behind. He visits their apartment, torn between escape and duty. On the table, in the amber light of late afternoon, rests a marble fragment salvaged from a burned synagogue. A gilded Hebrew letter shimmers on its surface. His father explains it corresponds to the commandment to honor father and mother. Frankl later writes that at that moment, he decided to stay and let the visa lapse. Deportation would follow. He would survive the camps. After the war, he would write a slim book that steadied millions, including the line, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude." Here's what struck me when I first read that scene. That little marble shard wasn't a grand sign from the heavens. It was a reminder of an inner stance. He couldn't control the world, but he could decide who he would be in relation to it. That move, choosing a stance when almost every external lever is gone, sounds exactly like a line tucked into the Bhagavad Gita's 6th chapter. There's this idea in the Gita that is both stern and freeing. It says, in plain terms, lift yourself by yourself. Do not let yourself sink. The self is the friend of oneself, and the self is the enemy of oneself. Then it adds the hinge that makes the whole thing work. When the mind is trained, it's your ally. Untrained, it opposes you. What's fascinating is what the verse doesn't say. It doesn't say, wait until you feel different. It doesn't say, find the perfect advice. It points to a responsibility that can sound heavy until you realize it's the doorway to freedom. No one can do the inner reps for you. Friends can help. Community can steady you. But at 1:40 a.m. in the courtroom of your own head, you appoint who leads, the friend or the enemy. To make this usable, let's talk in simple human terms. There are two tendencies inside us. The ally is the part that can set a stance, name a fact, and take the next right step even when feelings surge. The saboteur is the part that dramatizes, catastrophizes, and indicts your worth until you freeze or flail.
The Gita's claim isn't banish the saboteur or be sweet to yourself and it'll all be fine. It's stronger and kinder. Train the ally. Make a pact with the part of you that can steer in any weather. That's what be your own friend means here. Not self-flattery, self-leadership. Bring it back to the 1:40 a.m. courtroom. Untrained, the saboteur prosecutes. You blew it. This will ruin everything. Trained, the ally steps in like a calm friend and says, fact, the note was blunt. Impact, tension tomorrow. Next step, draft a clean repair by 9 a.m. Same event, different habit. One sinks, one lifts. But isn't self-criticism responsible? Isn't that how we improve? Here's the trap. Self-criticism masquerades as responsibility, then quietly becomes self-sabotage. It floods your system and narrows your options. The ally keeps standards high while keeping you moving. It speaks like a coach who knows your name and the next drill. Here's what I discovered testing this in my own life. The moment I stop arguing with feelings and start steering behavior, something real shifts. The mind doesn't have to feel friendly yet. The actions of a friend come first. The feeling often follows. That order matters more than we think.
Now, back to Viktor Frankl, but without putting a halo on him. He couldn't change the weather of his time. In the camps, he had almost no outer lovers. What remained was the hinge the Gita names, a trained inner stance. He aligned with the ally, choosing meaning, choosing how to meet small daily tasks, choosing his attitude toward suffering. He even mentally composed future lectures as a thread of purpose. That's self as friend under pressure. It doesn't romanticize pain, it demonstrates dignity. Two quick misconceptions to clear before we get practical. Self-reliance means isolation. No, the verse targets inner posture, not your social life. Use friends, mentors, therapy, community. They're spotters for the inner reps, but they can't lift the weight for you. Being your own friend equals positive thinking. No, the ally isn't a cheerleader. It's a truth teller with a plan. It names facts, chooses one next step, and follows through. So how do we train this without turning it into a slogan? In conditions designed to erase agency, Frankl kept a tiny appointment with himself to choose a stance, to carry a thread of meaning into the next hour. Your life is not his, and that's the point. The same principle scales down to ordinary stress. This experiment is your way of practicing that thread of agency now, not later. The moment the inner courtroom starts, especially at 1:40 a.m. or right after a tense meeting, pick up any small object within reach, a key, a button, a coin. Let it stand in for Frankl's marble fragment. Say quietly, using your name once, "Okay, Maya, Chris, honor what matters." That phrase cues the ally. On any scrap of paper, write 3 short lines. First, one sentence about what happened, with no adjectives. Second, one word or phrase you want to honor here, like truth, repair, courage, or rest. Third, one concrete action and a time. For example, draft repair email at 9 a.m. Put the object down as a period. If it's night, return to bed. If it's day, take just the first 60 seconds of that next step. Why this? Frankl saw a marble letter that pointed him back to a value, honor, and he chose his stance from there. The Gita's line is the same move in different words. Lift yourself by yourself. A marble minute makes that hinge physical, simple, and repeatable. You're not fixing your feelings, you're appointing the ally. One obstacle to expect: you'll forget, or you'll think, this is too small to matter. That's fine.
The moment you remember is the moment it counts. If you like, leave a coin on your nightstand as a gentle nudge, but don't wait for perfect conditions. What might shift? You might feel a sliver of space open, 10% less flood, a touch more steadiness, maybe even sleep returns sooner, or nothing obvious changes. Either way, you'll learn that you can interrupt the spiral and choose a stance in real time. That's valuable data. Be curious. Sit as you are. Unclench your jaw. Let your shoulders settle. Feel your feet grounded. Inhale slowly. Exhale a little longer. Picture a candlelit study with stone walls and a wooden table worn smooth by years of thought. A polished shield leans nearby, reflecting your face, not to admire, but to befriend the one who must decide today. Next to it lies a small marble fragment, its gilded letter catching warm light. Whisper inwardly, lift yourself by yourself. See one small step you'll take in the next hour. Name it. Commit to it. When we outsource our state to tricks, trends, or other people's feedback, we hand our steering wheel to anxiety. The Gita's pivot, be your own friend, puts your hands back on it. Frankl's life insists this isn't theory, it's how dignity survives pressure. Carry one sentence into tomorrow's 1:40 a.m. I don't have to win the courtroom, I just have to appoint the ally. That is the quiet secret to inner strength. Not bravado, not perfect mood. A trained friendship with your own mind, practiced in small steps, beginning now. If this served you, give the Marble Minute 7 days and share one moment when your ally showed up. What shifted, even slightly? We learn this habit together, one honest step at a time.